I'm Becca, Charlotte. I'm trying to talk really loud. And welcome to Waypoint. We're having an NOI Day event here. I'm guessing there's different levels in the room of who knows what with NOI, but we brought in Doug and Kenny from Tyson, the regional managers, and then Angel has been gracious to let us host here again. So really the agenda is just gonna be, they're gonna do a little brief, what would you say? Talk about NOI, talk about dark and white meat, which is a struggle for a lot of people to draw down. And then we're gonna sample some food. We have Annette and Tony here from MD. If you happen to have questions that I can't answer or they can't answer. And we're just gonna get going.
In his past life, Kenny did a lot of training for Tyson and did that for several years for not only K-12 groups, but food service companies, food service operators. And in part of that, we used to have what we called Tyson University. I'm trying to bring that back. Have you been?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Kenny there?
I think you
Did I sign your diploma?
Yeah, I bet you did. I'll have to look.
Yeah. There you go.
If so, you can sell it on eBay for very little money.
All right.
Yeah. So, as part of this, Kenny's gonna talk about, the history of the commodity program. He's gonna talk about white dark, and believe me, you guys, I know, are struggling with what are you gonna do with your dark meat pounds. We get that, everybody is doing that, you're not unique. When we, and he'll talk to us about it, but generally what you guys want are all white meat tenders or fillets or something like that. Well, that's great, but there is a dark side, if you will, of the chicken that you have to use. And we'll talk to you that, we'll give you some options, and we'll let you know how it works. Kenny's gonna give you an overview of the whole program. He's gonna talk to you about how the bird works. Some of you probably already know this, but for others it might be some good information for you. If the rules are in this, there are no rules. Ask questions throughout, stop him, he has no problem with that, all right? So Kenny, if you want to start off.
Yes, sir. I get asked the question quite frequently. Why do we have to use the dark meat? My kids don't like dark meat. There's a one-word answer for why you have to use dark meat. Because. And it's because when you divert 103 chicken from USDA, this is what you get. You get a chicken. Chicken has white meat, chicken has dark meat. You don't just get the front half. So this is why you have to use it. This is what the USDA gives you. Technically, they give you money. There's not a chicken, a cow, a pig, or a peanut butter running around Washington, D.C. Okay, it's all about money. But this is what you get for your money. It's a large chilled log. A log is simply a chicken without giblets. That's what log stands for. It's a hollowed out bird. So, this is what you get, so this is what you've got to use. So, now why do I have to use this dark meat? Well, a friend of mine will explain it to you, and this is my buddy. I'd like to introduce you to Bob, the back of the bird. This is all the dark meat on the chicken. If you think of a chicken kind of as a human, this is everything from the waist down. Okay, so if we were chickens, our legs would be dark meat, from the waist up would be white meat. Meat gets dark, all meat, because of breaking of blood vessels when an animal exercises. Okay? Chickens don't fly. So everything on the top that would take flight really doesn't get that much work. Yeah, they flap their wings around and all that stuff, but the muscles stay lighter in color. They walk everywhere. So this is where they break blood vessels and the meat gets darker. Also, since chickens don't lay down, if you see a chicken laying down, he gone. He's already passed. So they sit, they roost. So when they do that, the natural levels of sodium in that bird fall, and that helps to darken the meat as well. So this is what you get. Well, technically from Tyson, we're going to get rid of these things. But when you divert to Tyson, this is what you get. Dark meat and white meat. We give you 36,000 pounds of usable meat in the truck. For commodities, really not usable. For us to debone these and use the meat, it just doesn't work. Okay. You all know there's not a whole lot of meat on a chicken wing, right? But boy, they taste good. You know why they taste good? It's the fattiest part of a chicken. And where I come from, in Pittsburgh, if you don't get a whole wing like this, you got ripped off. And the best part is that little ridge of fat right here. You deep fry that and chew on it, oh, that's good stuff. Which is why I look the way I look. If we take Bob and cut him in half, what do we have? You know? A leg quarter, right? Now, if we get rid of the backbone here, what do we have left? It's funny, we have a whole leg. Leg quarter, you take something away from it, you end up with a whole leg. That's the way it goes. Don't ask me why. This whole leg consists of two pieces. A thigh and a drumstick. We make these. We make commodity products with these. That when you cook in your oven or your cafeteria smells like a KFC. Kids like these. Okay, we've heard, what it is, it's a bone, what if they choke? You choke on this one, you're trying it. Okay. But again, my kids don't eat dark meat. I was asked the director, your kids go to the mall? Sure they do. Do they eat at the local Pan-Asian restaurant in the mall? They eat all the time. Then they eat dark meat. That's not all white meat being used. If we take a look at this breast, and this drumstick, sorry, it's a little slippery. Do you see a whole lot of color variation between those two? You don't, do you? We harvest birds at somewhere around 7 weeks. Those birds have not had a chance to get real dark meat. If you look at a wild turkey, yeah, they're gonna have dark meat. They're gonna have dark meat in their breast, okay? Not just their legs. If you take a look at a chicken that's a year old, a spent hen, a retired rooster, some of our breeder stock, they're a year old or so when they're harvested. Their meat's going to be darker. They're dark meat. Their meat is also tougher and stringier. So those birds get used in things like pulled or diced, somewhere where you're going to use that meat in a wet application, a soup, a stew, a casserole, maybe a chicken salad, something that's going to keep moisture in, okay? Those are called fowls, okay? These are fryers, they're younger birds. So that's the difference between a fowl and a fryer. Fowl is just an older bird. These are fryers, not a lot of color variation, is there? And just since we have this thing kind of opened up, it's amazing they let me play with sharp objects. Here's your boneless, skinless breast fillet. This is what Americans want to eat for some unknown reason to me. To me, it's the best part of the chicken. It's got more flavor, it's moister. To me, this is it. You give me a chicken thigh or a chicken breast any day of the week, and I'm a happy camper. Now also, underneath that breast is a separate muscle. All by itself that lays along the keel bone. You guys know what that is? Tenderloin. This is a tenderloin. This is what everybody in America just absolutely loves to eat. This is chicken fingers. You see a chicken on that finger, or a finger on that chicken? No. Chicken planks, it's not made out of wood. It's a tenderloin. All white meat, all dark meat. But remember, when you divert money to poultry manufacturers, this is what you get. You get a whole bird. There is a commodity code out there for the back half of the bird. Some of our competitors only use this, and they use it in a lot of Pan-Asian products. We have Pan-Asian products as well, but it's made out of the whole bird. So why divert two commodity codes? Then you've got a big balance of dark meat in your Tyson knife. We offer Pan-Asian products. We offer chicken breakfast sausage. We offer chicken breakfast bites, drumsticks, fajita meat, oven roasted dark strips. What else do we have? Hey, we have a whole bunch of taco meat. Yeah, taco meat. Chicken taco meat that tastes just like some national chain. Had a little chihuahua. Used to say, yo quiero. And it tastes like that. And your kids are familiar with those flavors. On the drumstick side, we have breaded, we have unbreaded, we have sauce, we have glazed. There's a lot of stuff out there for you to use for your dark meat. Now, when you use something like a nugget or a patty, it's a blend of these meats together. It's white and dark, browned and put together. So that's going to be all your patties, nuggets, your reformed tenders, popcorn, all that stuff. Out of simply the white meat, we do fillets, we do whole muscle, we do made with whole muscle, mega minis, tenders, what else? We have, yeah, chunks. Chunks of boneless wings, that's the word I was looking for. So, we have products in both white and dark, and we also have blended products. So, there's plenty of opportunity for you to use your dark meat. The commodity program, it's not just schools. Okay? It's schools, it's Indian reservations, it's WIC, it's SNAP, it's food banks. All that rolls into it. Now, somebody said, how are we going to pay for this? Congress said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 30 cents of every tariff dollar coming into the country, and we're going to put it into this program. Why 30 cents on the dollar? Because in 1935, those people that actually made a living 30% of them were farmers. Guess what that percentage is now? You can count it on one finger.
1.
It's about 1% of people that make their true living out of farming. It's not the heart surgeon in Dallas that has, 5,000 acres. He doesn't count. He makes his living from being a heart surgeon.
There's also the corporate farms
Yeah.
out there as well, that really go, this is a family farm.
So, 1%. But to this day, still 30% of every tariff dollar goes toward the commodity program. And they're unappropriated funds, which means Congress does not get to vote on whether these funds are given to this program or not. So, on October 1st of every year, the guy from the Treasury takes a great big check, tucks it under his arm, walks across the street to the guy at the USDA and says, here is your $12 billion. Have a nice day, see you next year. So, how's that? The commodity program is not a feeding program. It's not a nutrition program. It's an agricultural program. Your National School Lunch Act is really not a feeding program. That was signed because in 46, is it 46? 42. A lot of young men were signing up to join the service to fight in the war, and they were undernourished. So it was decided they should have a meal at school. The National School Lunch Act is truly a defense initiative. That's why it was signed, because we had young men joining the service who were undernourished. Now the military tells us they're all too heavy. So, just some interesting facts. Before I get into net off invoice, no, I'm not gonna drop it. Not yet. They've laughed at stuff. If they don't laugh, I start drawing. You all understand how you get your money for this. Your PAL, your planned assistance level. It is the USDA meal rate times your ADP times days of school. So, let's say the USDA says the meal rate is $2 times your ADP of 1,000 times 180. How much money you get? Put your phones out. I can't do that kind of math. Is it 300?
36,000.
How much? 360,000?
36,000.
What you get to spend, or 36,000. Or just say, but, hey, you know what? You get a whole bunch of money, okay? And that money gets to be spent on chicken, on beef, on pork, on peanut butter, on DOD fresh fruits and vegetables. Everything from apples to zebra meat. Okay? Whatever the USDA has in commodities, that's what you get to spend that money on. All right, let's hide this evidence so nobody else knows about my poor math skills. You're keeping that. You're going to keep that, aren't you? Yeah. I don't like him, but he has a card sheet, so what am I going to do? Net off invoice. In the old days of commodity processing, when I started, a truck would pull up to our plant in New Holland, Pennsylvania, which is where we make the majority of our commodity processed items. And they would be making Weaver chicken croquettes to go to the grocery store. Chuck would pull up saying, hey, got a truckload of chicken here from Minnesota. I said, okay, then stop producing the chicken croquettes, shut everything down, sanitize it, process the birds for the state of Minnesota. All that meat from those birds was put into great big totes, metal totes, and they had a big tag on it that said Minnesota. That tag followed that meat all the way through the plant until it was in finished products, put in boxes, and shipped out. Once that meat was used, okay, let's shut everything down, let's sanitize it, let's go back to making Weaver chicken croquettes. 2 days later, 10 trucks would pull up. Cali, I got chicken for California. Okie dokie. Shut everything down, sanitize it, process those birds. All that meat went through the plant with big tags on it that said California. It was not a very efficient program. That's, if you've been around a while in school food service, that's when you would get the call from the state saying, and this is, oh, let's say September 22nd. I got all your commodity chicken. Remember those phone calls?
Yep.
And you're going, oh, what am I going to do with it? Well, we'll hold on to it for you. But we're going to charge you a monthly fee as well as a delivery fee. What are you going to do? Or you get the call May 31st. Hey, I got your chicken for this year. You know, you have 7 days of school left. What are you going to do with 20,000 pounds of chicken nuggets? You're going to store them over the summertime. Because your freezer is just a little bit bigger than your home freezer in the building, right? That happens. The USDA thought they were pretty good at stuff. So they went to the food service industry. They went to distributors. And they said, we're feeling good. We got a fill rate of like 68%. That's pretty good, huh? When the distributors got done laughing, they said, if we're at 98%, we have problems. So then back in 1999, the USDA started a program called FD 2000. You guys remember FD 2000? It was Food Distribution 2000. Through that, something called substitution came about. All substitution means is chicken, is chicken, is chicken. So we as manufacturers were then able to front load all of your commodity pounds to you and have them ready July 1, the first day of your fiscal year.
Hey, what does front load mean?
The front load means we take our own birds and use them for your products. Substitution says that's great because when the trucks from Minnesota come in, Tyson, you can have them to make other products. Okay? Chicken is chicken is chicken. There's now no distinction between a USDA chicken and a Tyson chicken. Makes things move a lot faster. Another part of FD 2000 was NOI, net off invoice. The real name is indirect sales discount. I've never heard anybody call it indirect sales discount except for one guy, John Purcell. So, net off invoice in a nutshell is this. We've got an invoice here. This invoice is from Doug's Distribution Company. It's going to the Kenny School District. Okay? Kenny School District put out a bid for chunks. Doug Distributing Company won the bid at $40 a case. All right, for simple math, this is going to be a 10-pound case. okay? Doug wins the bid, I pay $40. Pretty easy, right? That's how things work. But with net off invoice, what happens is this. As long as I have commodity pounds to cover the chicken in here, all right? Every November, the November file comes out. It's amazing how quick Washington is, right? They send this thing out every November, so they call it the November file. That shows us the value of every single commodity that they use. Apples, pineapples, chickens, beef, whatever beef it is, okay? Then we have coarse ground, we have special trim, we have refrigerated, we have large birds, we have small birds. We have pork, several different types of pork, peanut butter, flour, oil, egg, all that stuff. If you've been around for a while, you remember A and B commodities. You remember A and B's. A's were all your proteins and stuff, and the B was your oils and your flour. Yeah. So that gives you the value of the commodity. Because obviously you've seen my math skills and they're not real good. 100103, that is the chicken you divert to Tyson. It's a large one. That has a value of $1 per pound. All right? There is something, all right, that's a buck, okay? You gave us $100, you got 100 pounds. You gave us $10,000, you got 10,000 pounds. There is something called an SEPDS, a summary end product data schedule. That is put out by every manufacturer and shows how much raw material is in that case. So I'm getting chunks from Doug, and the SEPDS says there's 5 pounds of chicken, 5 pounds of this per case. What's the other stuff? It's 10 pounds. It's water, it's breading, it's soy, it's spices. And remember, these aren't real numbers, I'm doing this for ease of math, okay? So, if we take 5 pounds times $1 worth of chicken, what is that? It's $5. So, on my invoice, I'm going to see PTV pass-through value. It might say commodity discount. It might say, hey, we really like you, so you have a nice day, whatever it is. But it's going to subtract the value, the commodity value of the chicken in the case from here. So we said we got $5 worth of value. We're going to subtract $5. I am now paying $35 per case. When I run out of commodities, I pay $40. That's net off invoice. Now, there was a time. There was a time where everything we made was a white dark blend. Okay? Well, we started to make all white meat products. And then we said, gee, we got to make all dark meat products. Okay? So when you divert money to Tyson, let's say you give us 10,000 pounds of diversion. That is loaded into a bank. Since chickens have white meat and dark meat, the natural proportion of a bird is about 60-40 white to dark. So if you give us 10,000 pounds of chicken, 6,000 in white, 4,000 in dark. if you use all blended products, chunks, patties, form tenders, that kind of stuff, these banks will draw down to zero at the same time. That's when I started paying $40 a year. But now we have all white meat products and all dark meat products. Let me back up for a minute. We said there was, what, 5 pounds of chicken in that case? When you ordered something, we use K-12 Food Service as our bank. There's also a processor link out there and a couple of others. When you order that chicken and get it, we said there was, what, 5 pounds of chicken in there? 3 pounds gets subtracted out of your white meat, because that's 60%. And 2 pounds comes out of your dark meat. So now your balance is 5,997. This balance is 3,998. Okay, so if you use just white and dark together, it's all going to zero out at once. Well, let's say you run down your white meat to zero. That happens. You bought nothing but mega minis, boneless wings, breast fillets, tenders, all that good stuff. You have zero white meat left. In the old days, as soon as one of these banks hit zero, I started paying $40 again. Wait a minute, I have 3,998 pounds of dark meat sitting there. Can I just convert it to white meat? USDA says, no, it's not going to happen. So I'm stuck with this. It would roll over to the next year. So next year, you give us another 10,000, and you only use 2 pounds again. Now you have almost 8,000 pounds of dark meat at the end of that year. And things keep growing and growing and growing. So the USDA said we could do something called independent drawdown. Okay, this is dependent drawdown. One is dependent on the other. With independent drawdown, if you were to draw all of your white meat pounds down to zero and then ordered chicken patties, you would still get a discount for the dark meat that is in that case. So, you would have no drawdown on your white. You would have another 2 pound drawdown here. Now you're at 33 or 39.96, but on your invoice, you wouldn't get $5 off. You'd only get $2 off. Because that's the credit for the dark.
Is everybody going into K-12 and checking their balances from time to time?
You should. You should.
If you're not set up, or you need to be set up, let us know. We can get you set up. You need to do a tutorial through K-12. They're available. They're out of Maryland or DC area,
Maryland.
and they have staff on site and walk you through K-12, how it works, what you should be looking for, things like that.
They're a bunch of really smart people, and they're nice. They'll walk you through anything. Don't tell them I told you to call them. They'll hang up on you. Time to draw a picture.
Yeah.
Any questions? Diane?
Well, just about the products that when you did your calculations for the drawdown and the pounds that were given to Tyson, and then you had to choose and select specific products from your distributor. And then as the year goes on, whatever, the kids don't like it, whatever. So you want to change your products, and that is possible, correct?
Becca says, sure, go ahead and change them. She does. Yes, you can do that.
Well,
Now, your distributor may have something to say about that. If Becca says, hey, you know what, you're one school, you're only gonna use 20 cases of breaded chicken beaks, okay? And that'd be white meat, because that's above the waist. sorry, maybe we'll special order it for you. But Becca, if you special order for someone, will they still get their commodity discount?
We have done it.
There you go. Some distributors say no. If it's a special order, they can't make it work in their computer system. But Becca's awesome. She can do anything.
Love how you're saying me up
She
here.
can make it work. Yeah.
Sweet.
Guys, none of what you do, as far as Doug and I are concerned, and Angel, is written in stone.
I think like as far as it goes on the distributor side, if we bring in a lot of inventory, that's why we want you to test it. That's why we're doing days like this, so you know it's good, and then we can always come out with a broker. We can test it with your kids before you commit so much, and then we bring in hundreds of cases, and that's always the problem on the distribution side. So
And as, just so you know, if you do change and you don't like tender A, they may stock tender B, and we can get you a sample of that as well. And they're similar, most of the time they're very similar, or they're, within a very close match. The thing that we just say is give us a heads up too, or give Angel a heads up, so we can order our production facilities too. Because if we have everybody in the country shipping from one tender to another one because they don't like one, A, we need to get rid of that tender, and B, we need to alert production to ramp up. So real quick now, we briefly talked about NOI and how this works, and the white and dark. So when you bid a patty, a white dark patty, that's what this is. When you bid a made with whole muscle product, you're bidding all white, okay, or whole muscle. All right, and we've got some our focus magazines here, and what we're also going to do here in a little bit is go over our commodity calculator. And if you guys aren't familiar with our commodity calculator, it's a one-stop shopping for beef, chicken, pork, cheese, peanut butter. What did I miss?
Antelope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you look through here, MWWM, made with whole muscle, that's all white meat. You're gonna have to balance it with something dark, drumsticks, things like that. That's what he's talking about here. Does that make sense? Okay. When you go to your calculator, it is set up with all white, or no, it sets up with mixed, which is white dark, which will draw down 60-40. Then the next section is all white, which will draw down 100% white. The next section is all dark. If you then want to go over and say, I want beef, go and click on what you want for beef, click on what you want for peanut butter, then the final tab is a master. And it will roll everything up, and Tony, that's what Tony uses to purchase his trucks. For the most part. Now, you said something Tuesday that was right on. Let's say you want 2,000 pounds of poultry. I'm just throwing it out. To make his trucks work, he may end up giving you 1,800. You guys all realize that, right? Just because how we have to do the trucks. So you may get 2,100. You're not going to get 20,000, but it's going to be within that range. All right. Questions? This is, if you guys don't have one of these, this big packet is our beef, pork, cheese, chicken, you name it, summary and product data schedule. We can email it to you. This is, this is not classified information. Every manufacturer has one of these. It's required if you're going to do commodity processing. So it talks to the drawdown value that Kenny was talking about. Per case was $5. So if you look at, I'm trying to look at this upside down, and the first one is here, beef. The drawdown value is $11.44 per case on this first item of beef. On chicken, it's, on this one item is, if I'm looking at, no, that's beef too. But you can look through here. She printed out both of the same.
We're up to
No, here's
phone.
one. Here's a chicken. So it's got white, this is all white. Here is all white as well. So there's all white items, that your drawdown right here is $6, £6 and 6.15 pounds of dark and 13.97 of white.
But the calculator does.
But the calculator does
Works
that.
it out for
So
us.
you guys are all familiar with it, and you can look at this, I'll pass, just, pass it around if that makes sense. And we'll walk through the calculator. The calculator will even turn colors when you get the right balances on your white dark, all right? Which kind of says, oh, okay. All right? And we'll go through that, and most of you guys know this, but we just want to kind of walk through it. I know NOI is just so different for some of them. The Clicks program is so different for some of us. Kenny used to have this market
Years ago.
and, for the 5 years he was in this market, I don't think he understood.
No.
So it took me,
Kitty explained it to me
by
every
the
year.
time I started understanding. But it was, that's the other thing too, is every state has a different way of doing things, or almost. So, this kind of levels the playing field a little bit, but still, on the beef side and things like that, there's still, every state tends to do something a little bit different. So are there any questions on any of this? I know some of you guys wondered, okay, when you ask us for a breast fillet, we don't give you those, do we? We couldn't, you couldn't afford it. What we do is Chick-fil-A asks for a 3.5 ounce breaded fillet. We have water jets that come in and we sink these that will trim this breast to their specifications, whether it's Chili's or Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or anybody like that. All that trim meat is then put into what we call made with whole muscle products. Okay? So it's still all white meat, but we rarely have a whole muscle product. It's all 100% whole muscle. We do have, 3 or 4 that we offer you guys. They're grilled. But obviously we couldn't do one of these in a K-12 arena. Does that make sense? Okay. And then when you guys do tenders, you guys are generally not getting these tenders. No, you're not getting these tenders, unless you're off the school program. Then you wouldn't be doing NOI. But same goes with the made with whole muscle tenders. We have a product, it's a home style ready tender, many of you guys are using. It is trimmed breast, or trimmed tenders that we make into your tender. And what we do, I call it knitting the product together. I think we really kind of more mesh the product together, but I can see it more as what we do is we take this product and we just knit it together. And that's your made with almost product. Okay?
Can I ask a question? Do you folks know the difference between a tenderloin and a tender and a breast strip?
That's okay.
I'll show you real quick if I can. This thing that I pulled off from underneath the breast is the tenderloin. Okay, it is a specific muscle. This is it. Okay. A tender is meat that is cut to mimic the shape of the tenderloin. These are USDA definitions. This thing can be a muscle like this. It could be taking those larger pieces and knitting them together to make something that is in that shape. It can be chopped and formed, just like a chicken nugget or a chicken patty, and put into this shape. A breast strip is simply that. It's breast meat, it's cut into strips. So you'll go to a restaurant and you'll say, you know, give me the tenders. That's just a strip of breast meat. The USDA tells us what we can call it. They don't tell the restaurant what they can call it. That's why you get terms like chicken planks, chicken fingers, all that stuff. A restaurant operator can call it whatever they want. That's the difference between a tenderloin, a tender, and a strip. We used to have one tenderloin, right? Yeah. And not too many people could afford it. Because that is the premium piece of the chicken. And that muscle, by the way, there's in case you ever go on Jeopardy, that muscle serves one function and one function only. And if somebody can tell me within the next 10 seconds, I'll give them $5.
It was 100 in
So
cocaine.
you're not allowed.
What about me?
No, you're not allowed either, Becca.
Am I?
No. Doug doesn't even know. It's to lower the wing. The breast meat raises the wing, the tenderloin lowers it. Chickens don't fly. So that muscle gets very, very little work.
So everybody knows K-12 now is your bank, if you will, just like your bank at home. It'll tell you how many pounds you have and what that equates into dollars. And we're gonna look at somebody's balance here in a little while, we'll just pull it up. And I'll guarantee you that you probably use 60 or 80% of your white meat, and your dark meat will be around 23% usage.
Doug, I have a question. If they look up their pork balance on K-12, would that be their piggy bank? I have a million of them.
So, here in a minute,
I got another question for you.
yeah,
This is another animal question. If a cow doesn't give milk, is it considered an utter failure or a milk dud?
No.
yeah, and you know, I wonder why I bring them along.
What do you call a camel with no humps? Humphrey. Get it?
Stop while you're ahead.
My motivation ought to kick in
And
any
one ear is this big. So, any questions on any of this? We understand what patty is, fillet. You know, there's definitions on all that, and how you have to bid. If you're bidding a fillet, somebody is bidding, you know, let's say $40 for what we're bidding, somebody's bidding $30, I would look to make sure that you're getting what you're asking for. If you want a whole muscle or maybe whole muscle fillet, and you're getting a $10 cheaper case, now if it's, you know, obviously there's different size cases. If it's per serving, you know, X amount, substantially X amount less, make sure you're not getting a chopped and formed, which means white dark soy product, all right? And sometimes, you know, I remember I used to have Houston as a client, and Houston ISD was, they served 250,000 meals a day. They asked for a burger that was made out of beef, chicken, turkey, or any of the above. So you have people bid everything. You kind of narrow it down to make sure we know what to bid. You know, sometimes we don't know exactly what you need. If you have any questions, or if you need anything, look through. We all have the same type of information. One thing I will point out, branding. Some of you have been through some of these meetings. We've talked about our marketing and our branding. Our brands, some of you guys don't know, we have Jimmy Dean, we have Ballpark, we have State Fair, obviously we have Tyson. If you guys, let's say you're having trouble looking for something to do for, dark, and you wanna do drumsticks. Where's the mark? Monday Drum Day, see the poster, or see the leaflet, can you hold that up?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I told you I was.
Or Tuesday's Drum Day, or what is today, Thursday's Drum Day. Alright, you guys want help marketing that, reach out to Angel, reach out to myself. We can get you posters at no cost to you. You need 15 posters, 10 posters, whatever you need, we'll create those for you. If you want to say the Tigers, or whatever your mascot is, great. If you don't want Tyson on there, some say they don't, some, most it's a good brand, we can provide those for you as well.
A lot of times that depends on the district.
Yeah.
They'll say no ad.
Right.
They have no problem with a Pepsi scoreboard in the gym.
Yeah, that's true. We also, in this book, there's a recipe guide, and we are gonna go over that here in a little bit after we try some products. But it's for, I'm stumped on what to do for dark meat, or for, I'm looking for an Asian product, or I'm looking for this. We have some recipes that are made generally 4 items or less. Mostly we try to figure out what's in your pantry, we can't figure out what's in everybody's pantry. But this is information available to you guys on our website, alright? And then, we have, again, all of our products, we can sit here and talk all day long. Not to kind of throw a wrench into everything, but Tyson is right now looking at a program where we could possibly do net off invoice on beef. It's not allowed right now. We're looking at it, we're working with USDA, I don't know, we're still at least a year or two, a year away.
We actually did it one time, we had a pilot program, then we got out of it.
Yeah.
So now we're back.
So that's gonna confuse the whole, muddle up everything, I know, but I just wanted to tell you, behind the scenes, we're constantly looking at ways to make your life easier. And marketing is one of the ways to make your life easier. One thing we found real, good, did somebody have a question?
I did.
Oh,
Just on beef, does it matter if they divert 100-154 or 55?
We do 5-4.
You do 54.
so on that SCPDS that's going around, there's 2 codes, 10155 and 10154. You're gonna do the 154, okay? You're doing beef. One's fresh, one's frozen, that's all it is. Questions? It's a lot of information to kind of throw at you at once, I know, and some, you're gonna wake up tomorrow or Monday and go, oh, what about this? Reach out to Angel, there's a website, a Tyson Food Service, or Tyson K-12 Food Service website. I'll leave some cards here, you can come get my email. Feel free to reach out to me, you don't wanna reach out to Kenny, or you'll get lame jokes. Back here, the last 2 pages, kind of walks you through dark, walks you through beef, pork, peanut butter, all these things. Over here is the poultry, for the most part, I think it's all poultry. On the top, it talks about white dark, the headers, all white, all dark, things like that. That helps you as well. And again, the calculator will help. On the marketing, a strange fact that we've just become, we're seeing more and more. Your custodians don't like it, but we're finding that we're able to put more floor advertising down, magnets. Because what are kids doing? They're walking through going like this. So now we're actually creating floor magnets for advertising in schools. And it drives custodians crazy, I think, because things get in there. But kids are walking around like this. It's crazy. So, are you ready? Okay. Do you want to talk to them or anything?
We could take a,
You want to take a quick restroom?
Oh,
question.
I just have a quick question. It just doesn't necessarily apply to NOI, but I know that you just took over Advanced here,
Yes.
and some of their products now are becoming difficult to get or discontinued. Is that because of the?
Doug, I was gonna answer that.
Yeah, I
Because we
spent,
love it, because everything's chicken and the couple advanced peer reviews of some beef products, so you start getting rid of your beef products.
I spent 19 years with Advance before I came up with Sison 7 years ago, and our way of thinking back then was, and our biggest competitor was a company called Zardic Foods and JTM. And it was always a race to see who could do 90% or 90 milligrams of sodium, 85. 2.3 ounce burger, well, I'm gonna do a 2.4 ounce. Well, I'm gonna do a 2.2 ounce. I'm gonna, it's gonna be 85. So we created all these burgers, especially with the idea of, well, we're gonna do this. And at the time, Advance was a smaller company. And it was easy for us to do, for them to do things like that. That created this glut of products, and distributors headaches, basically. We have some shit here, right? Because, then you had school wanted a 2.2, you wanted a 2.3, you wanted a 2.4, you wanted a 2.5 ounce burger. We got to stock them all. So what we tried to do is try to narrow it down. I can get you a sample. We have what we call good,
It's actually
better,
gonna be a
best.
burger product.
Pardon me?
It's not a burger product.
It's a what?
It's the shaved beef, shredded beef, and the breaded pork, or the breaded beef patty that I menued as country fried steak. And my high school kids are revolting right now.
Because of, you changed it or we didn't?
Discontinued.
Okay, let's do a side session. The shaved beef, we reformulated.
Yeah,
We
it
had
has a
changed-
different number now.
Yeah, it's a different code number. So I'm imagining the distributor no longer even carries the old code.
Yeah, I think we emailed out the new number.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, pull me aside here in a few and I'll look at the numbers and we'll look at that, all right?
And
I did not today.
Okay. We have our breaded, which is our most popular drumstick. It is by far the breading option, makes it look bigger. If you guys just want to grab one, take a bite, that's fine. I know I'm not gonna eat all these. We have our hot and spicy glaze. We also have a new hot and spicy bread. Okay? Who is also doing that kind of stuff? KFC. Okay? So the breaded, as Kenny said earlier, is gonna be very much like KFC. Real quick. I'm gonna try to do this without Robert. The breaded and the hot and spicy glazed. Kids eat with their eyes probably. This is probably, this is why this is the most popular. Okay? Mashed potatoes gravy, green beans, roll, there you go. We also have a chicken meatball that we made into
I know, sorry.
that we made in kind of a mashed potato bowl, kind of like KFC does theirs. Okay? If you're gonna do the chicken meatballs, you're gonna wanna put them in a sauce. You're gonna wanna put them with something. A sub, something like that.
Alfredo.
Alfredo, spaghetti,
What are you afraid of?
things like that.
Oh, no.
There we go.
Today we did it in the item one potatoes that you're used to using. We took some of the Atlanta Lice cheese sauce, corn, and then topped it with a little cheese and chicken meatball.
Okay, I did, I don't know if I mentioned the chicken sausage fries. This is a new product from us. It's all dark meat again, but you can use it for different day parts. Brunch for lunch, breakfast. It's a real popular item. All dark meat. It's got it's a very kind of sweet flavor, sweet sausage flavor in it. We also have our Asian concepts as well. We have our Korean barbecue that will light you up. It's very spicy.
Little.
I'm telling you though, this is again one of the most popular ones because kids are eating so much more spice now. Who gives kids the Cheetos, the hot Frito Cheetos, or whatever? Flaming hot. Man, those are killer. And kids are eating out much more than they ever did, and they're getting exposed to this stuff much more than we ever did when I was growing up, or many of you were growing up. We also have our sweet and sour. Our Thai lemongrass. And our tangerine. Okay? Thai lemongrass, very popular in the Asian concepts. So is the tangerine. Asian is a real popular concept in K-12 now. I just heard the other day, you know what the new hottest K-12 concept is? Indian.
What is Africans coming up?
I was gonna say, what you have,
Curry?
I suggest, we had
Yeah.
a request for African.
For
Of
what?
course, my question is, what country in Africa?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a pretty broad.
I don't know.
I think what we'll look, I think we're gonna look at some stuff at, anybody coming down to St. Louis for the National School Show?
Yeah.
Are you guys coming down?
ANC.
You're not, is anybody else, nobody's coming down to St. Louis? No one's come to my hometown and seen
She
me?
is. Laura's the only one. I'll come with you, Laura.
You and I can go and grab a cocktail. Yeah, St. Louis downtown, July, it won't be humid. So anyway, we'll be introducing probably a dozen new items there. I know we're gonna probably, make some with like a curry sauce, things like that. And just using our meatball or our chunk or something like that with a curry sauce. All right? We'll do also some Nashville hot tenders, I know that for sure. We have a mega mini that many of you have tried that's a Nashville hot, it's all white meat. We're looking at one to do on a tender as well. Because a lot of you guys don't wanna mess with having to figure out 6 per, or 11 or 10 on some of these smaller things. It's easier just to do the tenders. But Nashville hot is a hot item this year, or a hot concept, if you will. Okay? All this stuff is, we've got paper behind Kenny. We have, a 2-pager. One is the net off invoice, kind of a real easy explanation for you. The other, on the other side is modified fee for service. That's just, I think I sent this to Angel. This really is not gonna impact you guys that much. It's good information, but wanted to let you know. Smart, chicken, or smart profits, if you will, dark meat options. All our dark meat options, or most of our dark meat options. And then finally, Kenny talked about independent drawdown. Here's a 1-pager that explains it really well.
Oh.
Okay?
So I didn't explain it well, is that what you're saying?
No. So we're gonna try this product, and afterwards, we're gonna look at some, your balances if you want to. And believe me, we're not picking on anybody, but it is, everybody's the same. You know, you're at 85% usage on your white meat and 13% or 15 or 20 in your dark. Okay, now, I used to have Texas as a territory too. I think, Kenny, what was it Texas had? Rollover of 20 million pounds?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to deal with that. Finally, they said, enough, because they kept on saying we're gonna sweep. Oh, well, in schools, just one school, for example, kept it, they wanted 10,000 pounds of beef every year. They only used 4,000. They just kept on rolling over that 6,000 pounds, or whatever it was, whatever counts. That's happened all over the country, and USDA has finally said enough. We're not gonna do this anymore.
The end of last year, the USDA canceled 69 chicken trucks to one of my states. They said, you have way too much inventory, you've let this rollover go way too long. Being on that conference call with that state, USDA, and us, wasn't a fun conference call. They canceled 68 trucks.
And Tony, you're gonna speak to what your policy is gonna be, in the state. But it's just, you know, I think we've let, especially the big states, California of the world, Texas, New York, have created this monster, and unless USA got their arms around it, it was getting out of control. And they would still order 500 trucks of poultry in Texas a year, and they had 10 million pounds of rollover. It's like crazy. So unfortunately, it hits us negatively because those are pounds we've already sold. And if you think about this, this is unused dollars in your bank. So remember that. It's not free, but it's unused. And there is a difference. I don't care about it, it's not mine.
But as a broker, my opinion.
But as a broker, now your guys' screens and K-12 will look a little bit different. Or could look a little bit different. Mine looks different than Angel's because obviously I don't have ConAgra on mine. But when I look any balances. Generally, this is 90% of the customers we have across the country. This is how they look. With, excuse me, I'm gonna walk across a few times. They've got 100% usage in white meat, 33% usage in dark meat, if I'm doing that right. Yeah. They started, you guys allocated 11,000 pounds, or 9,000 pounds, a little over. And so right about now, you should be over 50% on your usage, okay? If you wanna pull up, anybody else wanna volunteer? Are you bidding anybody in this room?
You can do mine.
Okay.
Take a look at my Robin scale.
Yeah.
We'll see where we're at. I do lie.
You're welcome.
Pick somebody who's not here so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we've got beef at 72%. Outstanding job. 95% use of your white meat, 32 on dark. And your balance is 13,000 pounds.
That's
Okay. So, did anybody have a favorite in these items we looked at? Breaded drum, sausage bites,
I like the meatballs.
meatballs,
They get texture, they get flavor.
yeah, the Asian concept. It doesn't look like any of you guys, well, you may not have access. Who's Asian Food Solutions? Are they processor related or are they K-12?
They're K-12.
Are they Yangs?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys can't see that because the Angel can't see that because she doesn't represent it. So you might be doing leg quarters, as Kenny was talking about earlier, with Yangs or Asian Solutions. So you're diverting a different code than what ours is. So our dark meat here, there, okay? And Kenny talked to you about that. Now, if you go to, let's hit the arrow. Yep. Down at Prince, up at Princeton. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Product usage. Down. You just go to November, or go to October. Or all. All right. So if you go this tells you what you've been buying. And you guys, most of you guys know this, okay? And then you're getting all your discounts. Now, sometimes things happen corporately where we don't set you up with the right distributor. We don't load the pounds correctly or something. And that's why you guys need to check this from time to time, especially at the beginning of the year. Once the year gets started, things start flowing. But we found time and time again, and it's, you guys change distributors or we don't set you up correctly, you join a co-op or, I'm just thinking of all the things throughout the country that happens. And all of a sudden, you guys aren't getting your drawdown. Contact me, contact Angel, all right? Because all that needs to happen then is we set it up, we can resubmit those invoices, and you'll get your drawdown. But you don't want to wait too long because then all of a sudden you're going to wake up one day and not going to have any pounds. All right.
What about if someone wants to change their, let's say Adele wants to change her 666010 drumstick to the meatball?
Okay. All you got to do, alert Angel. Okay. You might want to alert your distributor. They may want to let you know that, hey, you still have 5 cases left in your warehouse. Can you use those first? But we don't care of all those items on this SUPDS. Frankly, we don't care what items you use. And if you want to change throughout the year, you're more than likely. It used to be in the old days, you settled on item 1, 2, 3, 4, you were stuck with that item pretty much for the year. And I'm going back 15 years or so. As Kenny said earlier, we made all your product at once and we sent it off to X warehouse. Well, if you wanted 100 cases, you thought you'd use 100 cases of this item throughout the year, that had your name on it. So things have changed. That's why NOI has been such a game changer in the industry. Okay? What else? And this is basically what I look at. And if you go down a little bit. No, my screen's a little bit different. You could, oh yeah, it does. Dark, white, dark, white, 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 dark, white. So here you're using a tinder that is white and dark meat. You are getting this drawdown here, okay? You're getting equal drawdown of white and dark meat on this product that is white and dark. On this item, you're only getting white drawdown, okay? That makes sense? All right. Anybody questions on K-12? You wanna go to, I'll let you.
So, I will bring up the calculator as well, just to kind of give a quick overview for anyone who's not, familiar with it or exactly what, has changed. So this is the current school year 18-19. I'm still waiting on one more manufacturer to get the 19-20 calculators to that guy and then out to everyone. So the only thing that I've noticed so far that has changed on the Tyson one is in the 18-19, whatever's highlighted in yellow is where you put your total number of servings. In 19-20, you can put cases in or servings. So they changed that. I know a lot of people are kind of frustrated. And I just know I want 200 cases, don't make me do that. So that is a change. So anything that's highlighted in yellow, you as an operator can make changes. The nice thing about all the calculators is they break them. So, beat them up, play around with them, you can save it and come back to it. They do still have it broken down on white dark meat, all white meat products, and then primarily a lot of the products that we take today, with the exception of a few, but I tried to pick some that were a little bit different, a little bit unique, or something that would be kind of fun to see side by side. Still have your number of servings, your portion size, all that good stuff, meal equivalents, your meat and grain, and then, go ahead.
No, good. All right.
So one of the things that, does anyone use the forecasting? When they're doing the calculators? Not really? You? What this part is helpful to really, the calculator is just a tool. You always have to check your K-12 food service balance to make sure you actually have, if you ask for 10,000 pounds, did the state give you that 10, or did they give you a little bit more? I know Tony touched on that on Tuesday. So check there first, make sure that what you want is what you have, and all those kind of things kind of line up before you start just filling this out. But the forecasting tool is really just a tool, kind of keeps you guys maybe somewhat organized. It might help to know, I'm gonna do so many cases in September, so many in November, and so many in January. But it helps Tyson a lot with their forecasting, and to make sure production is alerted, and all of a sudden, January comes around and you want 200 cases of a lemongrass chicken, they wanna make sure that you guys are short it. So that forecasting tool is helpful on our side as well as on Becca with the distributor have it pulled in.
So what we also do, we take some of we gather these as well, and we roll these up, and this is all across the country. Basically May, June, July, our plants are running 6 days a week just to do K-12 product. We start the year generally around 25 million pounds of K-12 product. And we put 1 million into this, 1 million into 2 million, based on history, based on forecasts. We'll end up the year with hopefully a couple million pounds. Several of you in this room remember 2 or 3 years ago when we were down to about 10 products because we didn't get enough forecasting in. Avian flu hit the market. We had some issues. Genio had a huge issue 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. When we had our issue. So it's not a matter of when, or it's not a matter of what, who, when, where, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something's gonna happen. Pilgrims happened last year, with their issue. And I don't ever want to say bad things about another manufacturer because things come full circle. And karma is right. So if you wanna come back here, real quick. Oop. Here's the drawdown. 48 pounds of drawdown, or almost 42 pounds for this item, this tangerine that we showed you today. 11 for
Meatball?
chicken meatball. So be careful, especially when you're looking at, oh gosh, I gotta use up some pounds. What items do I wanna use? If you go down a little bit, we have a, oh, go up a little, is that it?
Mhm.
I don't see, chicken ham. That means that much, you guys are doing chicken ham, but, we have ham, it tastes like, we have chicken that tastes like ham, for deli slices, it doesn't have a huge
There it is,
drawdown.
there it is.
It's up there.
Oh, okay, was it 17?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. It's just not a huge drawdown. And, you know, so when you start thinking about that stuff, think about how many pounds of drawdown per case that is. Now, the 51 is the, chicken burger. You're probably not gonna do, a lot of you guys aren't gonna do a chicken burger. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend another item, it's a very California thing and a very East Coast thing. Cause you're gonna put cheese and stuff on it anyway, and I get that, but it's just not one of my favorites, and I don't think your kid's gonna like that much. Okay, down at the bottom, we have beef, same thing. Here's some drawdowns. Obviously, beef is just beef. We have pork, peanut butter, cheese, all in one. The beauty about our 1920 calculator as well is, let's say you put, 1,000 servings in this product, the Bosco stick here, and you do pork and you do peanut butter. The master, well, this one actually does it too. The master will roll up into one sheet. It gives you balances of your pork, beef, cheese, chicken. You want to walk through just the, there you go.
I just want to see it, but. Yeah. Yep, so, it's getting hard to see, but. So then it carried over from those other tabs to this final master. So you can see kind of everything on one page.
And then finally, if you want to, you also want to do the 60/40.
I keep it handy.
So you see up here, diverted white, diverted dark. And Angel's gonna walk through, let's say you want, yeah, there you go.
10,000 of the neighbor's whole muscle. And if we did
It's pretty close, okay? Now we want 60/40. You're not always gonna get 60/40. We understand that, okay? But we want to try to get as close to 60/40 as you can. All right?
Any questions on the calculator? Really, they're kind of easy once you play with them a little bit, hopefully. And like I said, we'll have all the commodity calculators, SCPDF sheets, some point of sale as far as like what you've seen today, kind of in a one-page flyer. I'll have Tyson's, Highliner, Conagra, Land O'Lakes, and Brookwood Farms coming out.
And we'll be at the
Commodity show.
commodity show in a couple weeks. The weather's permits.
Rebecca, if we add an item that's a drawdown item, you know, like Tyson comes out with something new, we start using it, is it,
You have to let us know if you start using a new NOI item, so we can tie it in our system, so you get the discount on your invoice.
Okay.
So yeah, if you do make a change, we need to know. And I know Angel would like to know too, just so she can update forecast on their side.
And our good commodity department will make sure that in case all concerns come drawdowns on the right product.
Questions?
I have a, not a question about any of this, just your opinion of, with the new, grains, whole grains, only needing to be
1%, do you see like Bosco or?
We have available right now,
Changing.
non-whole grain Bosco items. What we're hearing is most of you guys are looking at your breads, your pastas are changing. You're gonna switch to non-whole grain. We do have, Bosco items in our portfolio, they're non-whole grain, they're the
Okay.
original products
Okay,
that we created, or Bosco created when they first started. You know, when I started this business few years ago, manufacturers made products for restaurants that schools bought. I was selling raw breaded chicken fried steaks to schools and they're putting them in their fryers. Now, manufacturers like us make school products that nobody else wants. And we've come a long way in a short period of time. I can remember whenever it was, when we rolled out the new whole grain items when I was with Advanced. It was like eating cardboard. It was terrible. But unfortunately, you guys got back to us and said, this is not good. Someone told me, I don't know how accurate the number is, but for us to roll out a new item from R&D through and to get it into distribution, approximately $300,000 to $400,000. And that's, that's running small samples. If anybody ever get a chance to come to Arkansas and want to tour our headquarters, let me know, I can set something up. We have individual test kitchens the size of this for McDonald's, for Burger King, for K-12. We have a K-12 specific test kitchen. We have these little plants within corporate headquarters that we can run like 200-pound batches. Well, 200-pound batches are great because, you get a kind of a taste, but they don't always translate into what the finished product will be. So the 200-pound batches are used to say yay or nay from our standpoint. Then we take it to a plant and we do a 5,000 pound or 10,000 pound. And then all of a sudden we're like, whoa, wait a minute, this is wrong. Finally, we get it to, okay, here's 5,000. We do what's called kid testing, kid approved, which it's got to hit 88% approval rate from kids by an independent auditor for a new item for us to roll it out. So it takes what we'll show at AMC. We showed a lot of this stuff at AMC last year. We're just now getting on bids for next year. It's kind of crazy how our cycle works. But with that said, we have a peanut butter and jelly that's not whole grain. We sell to Sam's Club that you guys can buy food service. If you're looking at changing from whole grains. Okay, to answer your question, yeah, we have a whole line of Bosco products. If you buy the pretzel that's not whole grain, it'll come in the salt packet. You guys are gonna want to use that. Maybe an ice your use the salt on your steps. But that's for the bars, the pubs of the world, the delis, where people are gonna spray butter on there and they're gonna throw salt on. Okay. What else? Any sodium levels? Tony, I don't know if you're hearing anything different than what we're hearing, but right now, everything it looks like is staying the way it is. The new administration is looking for, it's not new anymore, it's 2 years old, is looking for cuts, budget cuts. Some of the funding that Kenny talked about earlier said is non-discretionary, means they can't take it away. Well, they can there's $12 billion that they're looking at taking away from SNAP, WIC, things like that, that indirectly could impact you guys. But again, I think a lot of this is still up in the air. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Any other? All right. Angel, do you have anything?
Yeah, and then we're gonna bring up.
So Tony and Annette, are here as well from NPD, so if you guys have input, if you wanna stand up and come up front, you're more than welcome, and, if you guys have any questions, by all means, let her rip. They don't only answer anything, doesn't make sense, right?
So this year is the first year brought for that off invoice. Because of that, we're not sweeping any pounds for this school, any unused pounds this school year. Starting school year 20, in the packets, page 17 is our rollover policy. Kind of has a guide of what percentage you should be at the end of each month. So starting next school year, we'll take anything that's over 25% of your allocation and give it to somebody that will use it. Talked about USDA canceling trucks because of unused pounds. We ran into this issue with beef probably 4 years ago. Every year they were getting 20,000 pounds of beef, and every year they were using 12,000. So we ended up continuing to roll it over, and we had a bonus beef survey where we gave away over 100,000 pounds of beef to schools because it was just in our account. So we don't want that to happen because USDA can come in and take it and give it to another state. So we want to keep it in-house. So that's why we'll take it from the school to another school so it stays in Minnesota.
How do they request pounds? Let's say you run out of white meat, which you call it dark meat.
So if you find you in a situation where you used up all one or you want more, you can reach out to us, but we're probably just going to tell you to talk to Angel, talk to Doug. You know, they have a better finger on the pulse, if you will, of who's using what. And you can just, all they have to do is send us an email like, hey, we want to move 5,000 pounds from this school to this school. We say okay, and then that happens.
And that's every manufacturer.
Yeah, but that's everybody.
Yeah, there's just a form you sign, right?
What's that?
There's just a form that
I think
if you're gonna
it's
trade or give to another.
in-house, we
You don't?
use email, but from like state to state, we'll use the active form.
So with the carryover being just this year, but you're like, for us, just as part of the process, we would fill out a calculator based on what we're carrying over, correct?
Yeah, so you'll wanna make sure, factor in, so you'll use that calculator and it'll say you're gonna use 10,000 pounds. Don't survey for 10,000 pounds if you still have 3,000 pounds in your bank.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Okay.
So factor in your rollover when you're surveying for those pounds.
And then you guys will automatically know that
Automatically know what?
when we submit it in clicks, that
Yeah.
that's our intention.
We assume that you did it right.
That's a scary thought.
Right. So we can't hold everybody's hand, there's a lot of hands to hold, so we just.
And you'll let us know, we'll basically get an email like you've messed up way too many times, this is done, it's going away, see you later.
We had a school that they surveyed for 5 pounds for every processor in every survey. They were sending chicken to Land O'Lakes and, you know,
Okay.
cheese to like Idaho, and they were just picking random processors and it was 5 pounds. So that was one of those like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So
Then we call
Yes.
Then we call. We say, what are you wanting to do here?
Okay.
So, just being familiar with some of you, you guys are pretty good about your programs, and we appreciate that. But those kinds of things, sometimes we just have to call you. So we're not Gestapo. We're just trying to figure out what it is that you're wanting.
we are making changes to the spring survey, so it'll be more like the fall survey. Because last spring, each processor had their own survey, which made it very messy because, especially on our end, because you sent mozzarella to all these places, and we're like, well, who did you really want this to go to? So this year, each commodity will have its own survey. So you can do all of your pizza on one survey, and all of your potatoes on another survey. Just to, and we're up to 20, 25 surveys, not the 39 like it was last year. Make that easier for
Thank
everybody.
you.
Are we thinking that these surveys will come out later because of the shutdown that occurred? Does that back things up?
We're working on it now.
Oh.
The catalog, Hallelujah, came out yesterday,
Oh, okay.
because they went back to work. As you know, the shutdown ended, for 3 weeks. So the catalog came out yesterday. So Tony and I, we'd already started doing a shell of a lot of things. So we appreciate your patience, which is why by this time, normally we would have sent out communications about the surveys, but we couldn't because we were waiting on USDA. So we're hoping to have all of this done within a week or so, so we can get those things out, get it open earlier, get it in your hands, and let you know what's going on the next the upcoming survey. So, watch the announcements.
Because our first orders are due to USDA on the 27th of March, so we'll be closing them at least a week earlier. So that's the fruits and vegetables. Again, we're gonna open and close them, hopefully all at the same time this year. We're not gonna have 2 closing dates, kind of confused me last year. So trying to make that.
Real quick, and I don't know how Tony in the state wants to handle this, but February 15th is the line in the sand for possible another shutdown. We, as you heard Kenny earlier talk, we are front loading customers' pounds. We will, and I'll let Tony speak to this, and I think some manufacturers don't do that, they don't front load your pounds for you. So if you run out of pounds, we will let you go negative into next year with his approval. Does that make sense? Because we don't know what's gonna happen. Come February 15th, I mean, these guys, they're gonna wait till February 14th to figure out what to do. And I don't think, personally, they're gonna get anything done. And maybe I'm wrong, but they've got basically 2 weeks now. And good luck. So we can let you go negative for next year if you want to, as long as you just process with us. And we will, as we front load those pounds again in July, we will take those balances off, those negatives. Does that make sense?
I want to circle back to something that Doug said earlier about watching your pounds. We get a lot of schools that don't, either through fear, they're afraid of K-12 processor link, or just not understanding it fully. But we often have a school that realizes in May that they have a large bank of pounds left, and they've been buying that product commercially. So if you don't understand K-12 processor link, we can give you the customer service number. It is on our website. We want you to monitor your pounds. You are your own bosses of these programs. And we hate for you to look up in May and you've got 8,000 pounds of anything, but you've been buying that item for 4 months commercially because you weren't aware of that. So if there's anything in terms of the education piece that we can help with, we will be happy to do that. Also for the trucks, because of the shutdown, trucks through February that are coming in are good. We received a communication yesterday about those from March. At this point, they don't anticipate an issue with those trucks at this point. As Doug alluded to, the inmates are running the asylum out east, and we just don't know. And we don't know, because if we did, we would tell you. So let's keep our fingers crossed that they come to something, because we don't know about March. We're just hoping that everything will go as planned for what you ordered for this school year.
And that's kind of where I was going with, we'll let you go negative too. If you've got 10,000 or 5,000 pounds coming in your next truck, whatever, we can let you go negative till you get those pounds. Okay?
Anything from MDE? Any questions? Clicks, login issues, surveys, anything? Okay, you know where we are. If you do, we'll be happy to answer those questions.
Is this anybody's first year at their district? Okay. Have you guys gone into K-12 processor link?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, because a couple years ago, we had a school that they had a new director, and she didn't realize that she had $50,000 in DOD until April, that she found out. So make sure you log in and see if you have pounds that are just sitting there that you don't know about in K-12 processor link.
I mean, there's a safeguard, like Stacy, the NOI specialist, is looking at your pounds. If you're a little bit under, some of you might have gotten emails from her, this or that. But I think you gotta treat it like it is your bank account. There's 2 different processors, it's a bank account. We're like the ATM to that bank account. We're paying you
but it solely is your account and you're responsible to check it. We're gonna help and we're gonna be safeguarding it and this and that. I think K-12 food service just got a new thing too, and they're really willing to give out like training on how to navigate their system, and I think there's YouTube videos too. So yeah, so there's stuff out there if you don't get how to use it, and I've emailed them a few times recently, like, how do I run this report? You know, and they'll email me back usually in like 24
Very
hours.
responsive.
Yeah, very responsive.
So is all their contact info right on the K-12 site?
Yeah, it's just like
Cause
a
it used to be
customer
terrible to
service.
get a hold of them.
Yeah,
We were
it's
like
gotten
non-existent.
better.